because of the implication. Because of the implication. Why aren't you understanding this?
Hello and welcome back. It's a Saturday edition. 2 episodes this week, baby. We got your top 5 quarterback matchups around the NFL. It's the implications, baby. You hear it all day long. Playoff implications, Super Bowl implications. We got it all here, baby. Let's get right into it. Number 1, Jalen Hurts and the Hot Eagles taking on Tanny Titans. The Vrabel train comes through Philadelphia. Big talk here because A.J. Brown, former Titan, is obviously now playing with the Philadelphia Eagles and doing an outstanding job for both the Eagles and my fantasy league. Took a loss, 10-2 in the family league. We still got a chance in the Olive Garden League. We're gonna have to win out, but I think we have a 29% chance coming down to the wire. Big implications. Considering playing Treylon Burks in that league, though, because is Tennessee and Vrabel and the Titans, are they going to try to prove that they did not need A.J. Brown? Are the Eagles going to try to make A.J. Brown the focal point so that he can really, ram it up Vrabel's train track? I don't know. Tennessee is tough, and once again, earlier in the year, I mentioned that Philadelphia is not going to be truly battle-tested outside of their division, and this is one where I think they are going to be battle-tested. And it certainly benefits Tennessee for this game to be in Philadelphia, but King Henry is tough, and it'll be interesting to see how Tennessee responds to the A.J. Brown thing. Are they going to make too big of a deal of it? Maybe try too much passing, get away from the Henry train? Because when it's weird, because if you can somehow make it to like the second or third quarter without Henry really getting the steamroller going, it's like he can't necessarily always get it going if you don't get it going in the beginning. So I'll be interested to see how Philly and Sirianni responds there. Number 2, the Dable Dimes Giants have fallen on hard times, and they're going to be taking on Taylor Hot Boy Heineke, who has the Washington Commanders in a position where I think they are 7-1 in their last 8, which I think is the best record in the NFL. So you've heard me go on and on about Heiney. Obviously, I'm a huge fan. I'm interested to see what he's going to do in this divisional matchup because this is huge. This is implications all the way. And this is the season for Dable. This is possibly a contract game for Danny Dimes. And I was listening to Simmons' pod, and they were going over if they would, pay Saquon Barkley. They're in a tough spot because Dable jumped out there, got real hot, started proving, people were talking about Danny Dimes as if he had even a scratch of Josh Allen's talent. And I don't know. I just think that one's going to be interesting. Ron Rivera, Heiney, the whole Commanders issue going up to New York and taking on Danny and Dable. Just a lot of weird question marks on both teams, and I think that one's going to be a real battle, real good old school battle. And we'll pick these at the end, give your parlay, Blue Mafia parlay of the week. We went 4-1 last week. We're doing good, but maybe this week we'll actually not try and have rooting interest like we did last week in picking A-Raj as the Blue Mafia upset of the week. Number 3. This is probably my favorite game this week. If you have any, football DNA in your body, you'll be watching the 49ers versus the Dolphins. Mike McDaniel is, I said this to my boys the other day, He's in the division, but still, I think he might be my favorite coach in the NFL, hands down. His dry sense of humor, his ability to connect, his ability to conceptualize, I just feel as though there's no one really in the league like him. And obviously that's why Kyle Shanahan, coach of the 49ers, always kept him around. And I heard the story this week. You can go check it out. But essentially, Mike McDaniel lost a hat at a Denver Broncos training camp. A staffer went and purchased him a hat, and eventually that staffer married McDaniel's mother, and that is how McDaniel became a ball boy for the Broncos, became friends with Shanahan Jr., Kyle. And apparently the old man, Mike Shanahan, became like a father figure. And once again, you just keep hearing these tales, and I can't find a more pure football coach. And go find the mic'd up stuff between Tua and McDaniel. It's priceless. Some of the jokes in the helmet, it's magical. And it sucks that he's in our division because I can't exactly root for him when they're playing the Bills. He's taking on his former boss, Kyle Shanahan, with Jimmy Buckets Garoppolo. All he does is make layups. He doesn't need to go downfield until it's time to go downfield. And you heard me last week. This is the trend. Big skills, big athletes, speed in space, putting receivers at running back, putting running backs at quarterback. It's going old school, and it's going tough, and Kyle Shanahan has been leading the charge even since Harbaugh and Greg Roman passed the torch to him in San Fran. They're a tough team, and they've got a lot of people talking Super Bowl. So what can Tua and the Dolphins do to change that? We'll see. Number 4, Father Derek Carr is taking on Justin Herby Hancock Herbert, and this is interesting because I don't believe the Raiders necessarily have a chance to really make the playoffs, so it's not necessarily implications for them. But as Derek Carr always seems to, he always seems to show up in the biggest moments that aren't necessarily moments that matter. That is, he certainly has had a good year, but they're not even in a position of a winning record, and they found something with Josh Jacobs, but it's a weird team. Talks of firing Josh McDaniels, but they can't fire him because they don't have the money to pay him and another coach and another coach. But they can play spoiler here. And Herby is hot. And the Chargers are starting to find something. But they still haven't seemed to prove it in the biggest games that matter. And this is a divisional game. And this is an AFC game. And this is going to matter to them. Both teams. It's a rivalry. Chargers, Raiders, unfortunately, neither still in their original cities. But Raiders, Chargers is going to be a good old-fashioned slobber knocker. And I'm hoping that Herby just takes the boots to him. But, hey, Carr and the Raiders have been tough along with Jacobs' running game and not too Tay Adams. And then number 5, big one. Everyone's going to be talking about this one. We couldn't not include it, but Patty Mahomes taking on Joey Bagsborough. A rematch from the playoffs. It's hard to not like this Bengals team, and it's hard to not look forward to that end-of-the-year matchup with the Bengals for Buffalo. I think a lot of AFC teams thought that the Bengals were going to fall back in line and not necessarily be a tough team to want to have to go up against. And I am just over the Chiefs. I'm totally over the Chiefs. I'm over Pat Mahomes. I'm over no one getting a hit on Pat Mahomes. I'm over no one getting a hit on Travis Kelce. I'm over the shuffle passes. I'm over the people just drooling over sandlot football. I want someone to finally take it to this team. The Bills have taken it to them in the regular season a few times in a row, and obviously we haven't taken it to them in the playoffs. That's next step. But the Bills have laid a couple lickings on this team the last 2 years, and I'm hoping that Cincinnati can do that this weekend so I can just get a little bit of a break from the Travis Kelce act. So let's pick 'em, baby. Super Saturday. We got some college football on today. Gutsy performance from Caleb Williams, even though the Utah Utes finished them off. Awesome victory. Caleb Rising, man amongst boys. Long hair quarterback, rare to see. Great leader. But I love college football. A lot of people don't love both. I just don't necessarily talk about it on the pod because I don't have a lot of time. You know, we do this because we love the game. We love faith, family, and football. So let's pick them and get you out of here. I know you don't got a lot of time, and I appreciate y'all listening. So, number 1, Hurts versus Tanny in Philadelphia. I do think that Sirianni knows this is huge for A.J. Brown. I don't think that he's going to overdo it with A.J. Brown, but I do think the Eagles will come out on top because I just don't know if Tanny can go blow for blow over the course of the game. I'm sure they're going to try and keep Hurts in the pocket, try and hurt Hurts. I just don't think that anyone's stopping that offense until an injury occurs. Devontae Smith is like, we talk about number 2 receivers. He's an excellent number 2 receiver. And I think that's why Vrabel is actually going to get a little bit egotistical trying to shut down A.J. Brown, which may hurt the overall game plan. So we're going Hurts. Number 2, Dable Dimes versus Heiney and co. I just got to roll with Heiney, and I do have rooting interest, but I don't like the way that Saquon looks right now. I don't like the way that Dable keeps losing his lid, and I got to go with the stable Heiney and the stable Rivera. Tua at Jimmy. This is a tough one to pick because I have to hand it to the home field here normally, but considering McDaniel is going to his former 5-year plus home, I don't know if I can exactly put a lot of onus on the home field advantage in this matchup because it's not like he hasn't been there before. It's not like he hasn't been in the building. It's not like there's not guys like Jeff Wilson on the team, Matt Breida. There's guys on this Dolphins team that played there. So in this case, I might have to hand the advantage to Miami. Now, when we look at the quarterbacks, who makes less mistakes? Neither one of them really take a whole lot of risk. You know, Tua is a lot of timing. He's accurate. Jimmy, very accurate, a lot of timing. More weapons. You know, there's the 2 weapons on Miami are outstanding, but I have to think that the 49ers have more weapons. And I'm going to go Jimmy. Number 4, Herby and Derek. I think I need to go Herby, but it's in Vegas. Vegas has been overachieving the last couple of weeks. Does Herby have it to finish a game like a man, or is he still going to continue to try and fight back and go for it on 4th down and pull these rabbits out of his hat? You'd like to see Herbert win a game comfortably. You'd like to see Herbert win a game like a man. That's what I mean in terms of domination, not just skirting around the game and playing catch up and shaking his head on the sideline like he doesn't know what's going on. I want to see Herby grow up. I don't think it happens this weekend. I'm going Father Derek. Upset alert. And then Chiefs at Bagsboro. Mixon took a shot, concussion issues. Some RJ Piron caught on last week. They do have a tough run game. It's going to be in Cincy. It's prime time. Bags shows up in prime time. Jamar Chase did not play last week again, probably saving him for this week. No scout on what they do with Chase the last 2 weeks, so they probably have some creative things planned for it. This interesting matchup. you got to think both teams, because once again, this is an implications matchup. They need these dubs. This isn't just that's all right, we lost, because they're both in the AFC, and it could impact seeding. It could impact home field. I think the Chiefs show up in big games. I'm gonna go Chiefs. Obviously, rooting for the Bengals, however. So that's it. We have Hurts, Heiney, Jimmy, Father Derek, and Patty Mahomes. Thanks for listening. We may have some exciting news for you soon, but for now, thanks for listening. Tell your friends, like, subscribe, share, and remember to check out the website over at BLEUMAFIA.com. Thanks, guys. Have a good weekend. Go Bills. Love you.
Because of the implication. Because of the implication.
Why aren't you understanding?